What's up, guys? My name is Aaron. Today I'm going to be reviewing Phantom Thread. Phantom Thread is a movie written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. It stars Daniel Day-Lewis, Vicky Kreips, and it's basically about this dressmaker in the 1950s in England named Reynolds Woodcock, who's played by Daniel Day-Lewis. He's like this really renowned dressmaker. He's kind of so set in his ways that he doesn't know how to have love in his life or have like a wife or anything like that. Um, he's fine being like kind of like a bachelor all the way up until like his later years, but then he kind of meets this young, strong-willed woman whose name is Alma, who's played by Vicky Kreips, and it's kind of about how the way that she kind of ingratiates herself into his life and kind of how that kind of disrupts everything that's kind of going on with his life. I was looking forward to this because Paul Thomas Anderson is one of my favorite directors of all time. I think he's probably my favorite director. Punch Drunk Love is probably my favorite movie of all time, and movies like The Master, There Will Be Blood, Inherent Vice, Boogie Nights, like just basically all of his movies I think are really great, and there's just so much in them that are kind of like you get to see over like in rewatches and stuff like that, and like there's just so much like humanity and like humor and just like it's a fun time to watch this movie. So anytime that he's making a movie or anytime he's like kind of involved with anything, I'm looking forward to it because his movies are just so like kind of great to me. Even though this is a little bit like enigmatic at times, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to grasp. I think that this is still like a fantastic movie, and I do think that this is definitely something I'm gonna rewatch over and over in the future. I'm gonna try to go over this as quickly as possible, but I do think that the way that it looks is very well done. Like the production level is like outstanding on this movie. With just the beautiful costumes and the sets, all of it just seems so like kind of British and like 50s style, you know what I mean? That score that kind of perfectly captures that like era, like that kind of sophistication. It's just like so perfect. I think Johnny Greenwood, who does basically all Paul Thomas Anderson scores, he really knocked out of the park with this one. I'm listening to the score, and one of the ones that kind of struck my ear was House of Woodcock. That one is definitely like my favorite and probably like the standout of that entire album. I do think the three main performances are all outstanding. I think Lesley Manville probably has the smallest role of the main three characters, but she's really great as Woodcock's sister, who's kind of domineering over him and kind of making all the decisions and stuff kind of behind the scenes and stuff. I think she's really great, and the way that she can just kind of convey so much with just a glance or just a look, I think she's really good at kind of doing that. Daniel Day-Lewis, of course, is just really great in this role. Like this is kind of something that's kind of just tailor-made for him as this like really brilliant but kind of tortured genius dressmaker. He's really kind of rigid in his ways, and he really can't see anything past having like a perfect dress and stuff for his clients and stuff like that. And I think Daniel Day-Lewis really captures that kind of intensity really well. This role isn't as intense as his other roles, but he still kind of has that kind of trademark intensity at times in this movie, and I do think this is really great. This type of role that I didn't even really see Daniel Day-Lewis, it just felt like a guy, you know what I mean? It didn't really feel like Daniel Day-Lewis, and I think that's really great acting when you can't even see the actor in the performance. To me, the standout of this movie is definitely like Alma, who's played by Vicky Kreips. I've never really seen this actress before, but she was fantastic in this role. She was like the mysterious woman that kind of just came into his life and changed the dynamic of how things happened and stuff. They really don't get like a big like backstory on why she's there and like what's happening with her, but it kind of plays into like the mysteriousness and the enigmaticness of the character. Like she's like somebody that you really can't get like a full read on like why she's doing the things she's doing, and you really can't tell if she's actually being swept up into his life or whether she's just kind of playing with him or if she's just kind of assert some dominance into this life. But I think that's how the character was kind of written, and I think that she kind of plays that off really well. She's the type of actress that can really play. She really conveys so much with just her face, without not even like a lot of dialogue. She kind of reminds me of like Marion Cotillard in that aspect, and I just really kind of appreciate those kind of actors so much because it's just really subtle type of acting. This to me is like a standout. Like if I was nominating people for the Oscars, she would be the one I would nominate for Oscars because she was just like fantastic, and I really can't wait to see more of her in the future. You know what I mean? There's kind of like a lot that's kind of being kind of unpacked thematically with this movie, but the main gist of what I got from it from the first viewing is it's just kind of like a deconstruction of the torture genius cliche. There's like a lot of movies that are kind of dealing with this type of aspect, you know what I mean? It's kind of like how Alma kind of comes into his life and just kind of sees how kind of stupid the way that he acts and stuff like that. Like just kind of like his stupid rules and just the way that he kind of acts and stuff with his sister and stuff. Like she just doesn't understand why he's doing the things that he's doing and just not kind of committing to being in a relationship and stuff. So she calls him out on it, like subtly at first, but then as the movie goes on, it kind of escalates and escalates, just being like basically overt. That's where a lot of the comedy kind of comes into play, just like her reactions to the way that he kind of acts and just the way that he just conducts himself with no regard for anybody outside of himself. To me, the humor really worked in tone with what the movie was trying to convey, and it didn't really feel out of place. And I do think I kind of got the main theme of the messages. You know what I mean? Like I kind of got what they were going for, kind of like a deconstruction of this type of thing. The story is really interesting to me, just how she kind of maneuvers her way into this lifestyle and the way that everybody kind of reacts to everything and stuff like that. My only kind of minor fault with this movie is that it's just kind of hard to fully grasp of what's going on because there's kind of like a lot kind of in play with this movie, but I just think that's how Paul Thomas Anderson movies work. Like, you really have to kind of watch this over and over again to kind of get what he's trying to convey with this movie. Like, The Master, it took me like 2 or 3 times to kind of even get what was even going on in that movie. But once you kind of get into the flow of it, like, it's just like a really good watch, I feel like. Overall, I really had little problem with the movie. I think that the way that it looks is really well done, with the production value, the way that it's shot with like these really long takes of everything, and the score is just really great. It really kind of puts you in this lifestyle and this kind of like time period. I think the acting is outstanding. All 3 leads are probably really great, but I think that Vicky Kreips as Alma is probably like that standout and definitely the one that you're going to be wanting to look forward to in the future. The themes are kind of hard to grasp, but I think that main theme of kind of like deconstruction, the tortured genius cliche is just really well done, I think. It's just a really great movie. I would probably have to rewatch this to kind of fully grasp what's going on, but I think this is still so great on the first watch that I would probably throw this in my top 10 of 2017. This is like the last major one I kind of wanted to see before, but yeah, this is a really great movie. Overall, I'll probably give this like a 9 out of 10. Yeah, this is a really great movie. I think if Daniel Day-Lewis goes out on this one, it's a really good one to go out on because he was really great in this. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Phantom Thread. What are your guys' thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks, guys.